Hello viewers, Wayne here. Firstly, huge thanks to every one of you for watching and leaving those really kind comments in my last video. It really made my day, honestly, and I guess that's what makes all this work meaningful at the end of the day. But at the same time, the expectations from you, the viewers, all of a sudden feel so real. Nevertheless, I shall carry on and hopefully make videos that we both like. Right, April. To most people living in the Northern Hemisphere, this is springtime. Everything is coming out of winter and back to life. Sun rises earlier, sets later. Sky is becoming less depressingly gray. Specks of green are peeping out on trees. And the wind no longer cuts your face. And tap water in the morning no longer gives your fingers frostbite. You know, this wonderful time that we call spring. At least this is what it should be like. Not when you live in New York City. More on that later. Today, I'm gonna make something to showcase some of the wonderful in-season spring produce. So, I've got some of the best that spring has to offer, like these asparagus, the fresh and tender, and the sugar snap peas that are incredibly sweet and full of flavor. And how could we glance over these fiddle headphones? Aren't these the cutest vegetables ever? The fiddlehead has an interesting texture and is revered in Asian cuisine. And fun fact, it is also one of the most ancient plants on Earth that's been around for hundreds of millions of years. I thought you might be interested. And here's another fun fact. I was gonna pickle these thinly sliced beets to go with my finished dish, but by the end of filming, I've completely forgotten about that. But just look at my half-decent knife work. Man, I love these maroon gems. So, to showcase these spring goodnesses, I'll need a vessel. You might get away with serving just one piece of vegetable and nothing else on the plate at 11 Madison Park, but this is not 11 Madison Park, so I'm gonna go ahead and make a risotto. The idea came from two people. First, my dear beloved wife, who recently got 4 of her teeth removed for Invisalign. And for about an entire month, our daily diet was congee or porridge based. And the other person was Chef Christian Costardi at the Scatto restaurant in Turin, Italy. I came across this video by Italia Esquisita featuring Chef Christian, in which he cooked 2 risottos. Or is it risotti? Anyway, with only water. And it was eye-opening, because I'd always thought that risottos are always cooked with stock. But then it made total sense, because as Chinese, we cook rice with only water as well. Duh. And also, his aim was to highlight the flavors of butter and Parmigiano cheese. Being inspired by Chef Christian, I'm gonna do the same with my risotto. Only the vegetables and herbs are gonna take the center stage. So, instead of using pure water, I made a quick cold bouillon, a vegetable stock, with leeks, fennel, onions, parsley, and some peppercorns. It's cooked really quickly because I didn't want a super intense vegetable taste, but rather to capture the vegetables' scent and fragrance, and to retain as much freshness as possible, so that the stock would give my risotto a lingering fragrance, even after you've swallowed it. And then I deployed another one of Chef Christian's technique of making a pseudo garlic butter with olive oil. The idea is to aerate some garlic-infused olive oil and then freeze it to give it that buttery texture and look, instead of using actual animal fat. Another thing I'd like to go with the risotto is some herb-crusted lamb, because spring is not only great for vegetables, the tender, juicy lamb is also one of the greatest produce that we can have during springtime. Of course, the herb mixture is entirely up to you, or perhaps also depending on the availability. But I mean, you can make the mixture as complex or as simple as you want. You use soft herbs or woody herbs, shallot or no shallot. I mean, if you want it to be just a bunch of parsley chopped up, that's absolutely fine. The possibility is endless. So recently, during this supposed springtime of March and April, we did get some absolutely enchanting days here in New York. Blue skies, perfect sunshine, 20-ish degrees outside. I'm still not used to Fahrenheit. You know, the sort of weather that spells spring, but never more than 2 days in a row. What the fuck? For those 2 wonderful days, the price you pay is either back to freezing cold the next day or pouring rain for the next 3. I'm off topic. What I've been trying to convey is that in New York, the window for springtime is so tiny that it could feel like you've skipped spring altogether and hopped straight into summer. So, to catch spring by its tail, I'm gonna make something to celebrate some of the wonderful seasonal produce, hence this video. Okay, now all the passengers are ready. Let's make the vessel, the risotto. It's just a plain risotto with vegetable stock, cooked the classic way with nothing fancy going on. Oh, except perhaps one thing. I also learned this from Chef Christian, that I'm toasting the rice in the pan dry instead of cooking with the sofrito and some oil. This is to wake up the rice and open the pores on the grains so that they can release their starch better and absorb the liquid more evenly. And when the rice gets too hot to touch, the routine work begins. This hasn't been a particularly easy video to make, vegetable themed, mostly because, well, I live in New York City, which probably is one of the furthest place one can get away from nature
in the world.
Of course, the city is home to some of the world's finest restaurants who can get their grubby little hands on whatever is in season that is of the absolute best quality, from even the remotest corners on this planet, within hours, and all the while regarding costs as a non-issue. But since I don't take the heli to work, that's obviously beyond my reach. So here we are, at the farmer's market. More specifically, the Union Square Grain Market. And you do have way more options compared to, say, a supermarket. Not necessarily for cheaper, though. I was shocked that they charge a single shoot of spring garlic. Guess how much? Nope. $1.50. $1.50 for a single shoot. I mean, back home you could get a bunch for that price. Okay, enough ranting. The risotto is cooked and is ready for the most important step of mantecatura, to cream the risotto. Before that, I popped the lamb into the oven and very quickly cooked the peas, asparagus, and the fiddlehead in a little bit of oil just to wake them up and bring out their flavors. So to cream the risotto, I used some frozen butter as well as the garlic oil that was supposed to look like butter also. And then the Italians call this allonda, like waves. I think it's such a romantic way of describing the rice dancing in and out of the pan. So mesmerizing. But it does also serve a crucial purpose of incorporating the cold fat and air into the risotto and then lowering the temperature. So I guess it serves 3 crucial purposes. Now that the risotto is not piping hot, I added the Parmigiano, and it won't be stringy at this lower temperature. now is the time, let's playtime. Making this risotto was partly inspired by my dear wife's recent inconvenience. However, as I'm sure many of you already knew, that the preferred texture of the rice in risotto is al dente, the famous Italian phrase, and perhaps one of the most famous Italian phrases of all phrases. But I do think there is room for interpretation in terms of what al dente should feel like. Some leave the core of the rice or the pasta a little bit undercooked and say you have to bite through that for it to be al dente. But however you interpret that, it just won't mean mushy like porridge. So to show my missus some love, I did cook the rice a little bit more so it was easier for her to chew. I'm sure my Italian viewers will understand. I hope I've done a good job here of conveying the beauty of these wonderful spring produce and made them look as appetizing and inviting to you as they are to me. I mean, just look at it. Every flavor is in perfect harmony. Nothing on this plate is too overpowering. There's no sauce for the lamb because the risotto is the sauce. The subtle garlic flavor of the risotto complements beautifully the delicate lamb. When you bite into a pea, that burst of sweetness and freshness really stands out. All I want to say is, go out there, enjoy spring, get some in-season produce, come home and enjoy spring some more. Spring is short, especially in New York City, so enjoy it while it lasts. Thanks for watching. Leave a like, comment down below, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.